Well, hello, Integrated Math 1 students. Now we're going to be putting that new way of solving a system of equations that you learned yesterday to today. That's called, the method that we used yesterday was called the equal values method. And it's where we don't use a table or graph to solve a specific equation or a problem like this. We actually use the equations themselves by setting them equal to each other, solving for x and then for y. So let's do that again. Let's get some more practice at this. So here's our problem. There's a population of mallard ducks in Santee Lakes at 1,258, and 10 ducks migrate there every month. The population of mud hens at the same lake is 3,130, and there are only 4 hens migrating to the lakes every month. When will the populations of mallards and mud hens be equal, and how many will there be? Okay, so again, we could make a table. But I think that would take quite a long time, especially considering that what we're starting off with and how many we're having to add to. And again, a graph may not be as precise either. So let's make 2 different equations for the mallards and the mud hens. So the mallards I'll put in orange. And remember, we're going to be putting this equation, it's a linear equation. How do I know? Because when I say migrate, I'm saying adding. So when I'm using this word migrate, I mean adding. So we know it's going to be in this y equals mx plus b form. This is a linear equation that we'll be writing. So for the mallards, it tells us that we're starting at 1,258 and we're adding 10 ducks every month. So our 10 ducks is going to be our rate of change. And our starting value is going to be how much we've started with. So we have 1,000, we have 10 ducks. That's our rate of change. And then our starting value is 1,258. I'm going to move this really fast. Okay. So now what about for our mud hens? And those are in black, so we'll put black here. So our mud hens have a population of 3,130, and they're migrating at about 4 hens per month. So again, we're going to write it in that y equals mx plus b form, where it's 4 is our rate of change, how many are migrating per month, and we're starting at 3,130 mud hens. Now, our question again, it's asking, when will the populations of mallards and mud hens be equal? And how many will there be? So just like in the video last time, yesterday, we're going to take these 2 equations and set them equal to each other because we want to know when they're equal. So we're going to take 10x plus 1258 is equal to, here's our mud hens, 4x plus 31,300. 3,130. I could not get that out. Sorry, guys. Now, our next thing we're going to do is we're going to solve for x. And if you remember last time, our x value was our months. And our y value was going to be our population. So let's solve for x. We're going to put our line down our middle here, and we're going to subtract 4x from both sides, just combining like terms. Remember that 4x minus 4x is just 0. So on this side, I just end up with 3,130. 10x minus 4x is 6x, plus, we still have that 1,258. Now we're going to subtract 1258 from both sides. Now when I subtract this, it goes to 0, so I end up with 6x on this side. And on this side, Sorry, having some technical difficulties. Technology's fun. 18,000. What's 18,000? 1,872. Well, I'm just making up numbers today. The last step is I'm going to divide both sides by 6. I end up with x on this side. And then I divide 18,000, I did it again, 1,872 divided by 6 is 312. So what's that 312 mean? It's my months. So now if I want to know how many there will be, I just need to take that 312 and put it back in either the mallard or the mud hen equation. Does it matter which equation I put it in? No. Either one will give me the same population. So let's go ahead and do that now. We'll go ahead and put it into the mallards since they have a different color. Y is equal to 10. Now that X, I know the X. It's gonna be 312. Again, that's how many months plus how many mallards we started with, 1,258. So this ends up being 3,120 plus 1,258. And what does that equal? 4,378. So there's our population and there's our months. So my answer ends up being, remember I'm answering the question above, I'll put it in blue here. The total number, oh, so when will the population? So in 312 months, both the mallards and mud hens will have a population of 4,378. That's quite a long time, huh? Anyone know how much that is in years? About 26 years. So not too bad, right? Again, all I did was I took my linear equations that I got from the word problem about mallards and mud hens. I set them equal to each other, solved for X, and then I solved for Y. X being our months and Y being our population. Okay, so now let's look at just two equations without having a word problem. So here we have these two equations right here. So it says solve the system equations using X and Y using the equal values method. It's exactly what we did up here. But we don't have any mallards or ducks or anything attached to these letters. We're just going to solve. So what I'm going to do is just take 2x, I'm going to rewrite it so that you guys can kind of see. Y is equal to 12x plus 5. And then we had y is equal to 10x minus 7. And again, I'm going to set these two equal to each other. So it's going to be 12x plus 5 is equal to 10x minus 7. I just took these two equations and set them equal to each other. Now I'm going to solve for x. So again, I'm going to draw my line. I'll subtract 10x from both sides. And on this side, I just end up with, because 10x minus 10x is just 0, so I end up with minus 7 on this side. 5 is over here, and then 12x minus 10x is just 2x. Next, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Again, I'm just trying to get x all by itself. Plus 5 minus 5 is just 0, so I end up with 2x on this side. Negative 7x minus 5 is negative 12. And then my last step, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is just 1, so I end up with x on this side. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. But I'm not done. It says I need to find for x and y. I know x. So now I need to plug this in and solve for y. Does it matter which equation I use? No, I can pick either one. So I'm going to pick y equals 10x minus 7. So y is equal to 10x minus 7. And I'm going to substitute this negative 6 into here. So y is equal to 10 times negative 6 minus 7. Y is equal to negative 60 minus 7. Y is equal to negative 67. And that's my answer. And how you'd write your answer is going to be as a coordinate point. Why is it a coordinate point? If you remember from the graph, it's where those 2 points intersect. I think I called it a solution, but this is my answer. If I was to graph these 2 lines, this is where they would intersect. Okay, so that's the end of the lesson. I hope this was informative for you. Make sure you take some notes, rewind and rewatch again if you need to, and make sure you ask your teachers questions, and I'll see you in the next video.